All right, Virgo, thanks for tuning in to your October of 2014 horoscope. My name is Athen, and it is time for the eclipses. This is the time of the eclipses, and the last time we had this was back in April. So what we want to do is we want to look back to that April time period and see what changes happened, what volcanic energy erupted, because those were very intense eclipses. We had a lot of squares, a T-square, etc. And so there was very strong energy involved, and so it changed our lives quite a bit, or at least created quite of a rustle in the bigger scheme of things. So whatever it is, look back to that time, and it's coming to a culmination now. Okay, because the eclipses, one leads into the next, and where the last solar eclipse left off, the new lunar eclipse is going to take place. And you want to look at it holistically. So just overall, look at April. And whatever it was, whatever changes happen, you're going to see it come to a fruition, and it's very positive. There's a lot of grand trines. There's one grand trine this month, other trines going on, lots of sextiles and stuff like that during the eclipses. So easy energy, supportive energy, okay? And it's happening in your 7th house, the lunar eclipse on the 8th. So whatever it is, it's going to, whatever you guys have been working on the relationship side of things, or with your perspective on relationships, or something of that sort, is coming to a full harvest, a full illumination, a very powerful illumination, and it's transformative on the 8th in your 7th house. So it has a lot to do with freedom too, okay, because Uranus is transiting there. And of course, because it's a lunar eclipse, it also has to do with your past. Okay, it could do with karmic relationships or past life relationships. Lots of changes in terms of that area, or in terms of how you see those things. Okay, and but overall, it's just how you relate one-on-one with others. So whatever that is, whatever, if it's one relationship, if it's multiple, if it's the whole sphere, whatever it is for you individually, think to that time, and you'll get a good indication, I think, of what is culminating for you around the 7th. All right, could mean new relationships for a lot of you, but perhaps more along the lines of developing existing ones. Those sorts of things. It's the kind of period where, if you've been, working on a new relationship since then or whatever, a time of really coming to a full peak in that relationship, in the sense of, you guys coming into a new beginning in terms of that relationship. But overall, everything coming together there. So that's early on in the month. Now, later on in the month, on the 23rd, we have the solar eclipse, which is the new beginnings. Holds the energy of the new moon. And where there's endings, there's beginnings. So where the 7th house created, not endings, but the culmination, then there will be new beginnings in the on the 23rd in your 2nd house. Okay, so your 2nd house is where the new beginnings are going to take place. All right, and you're going to see indications of this probably all month, because they're very powerful. And interestingly, we've got Mercury transiting that 2nd, and then going retrograde on the 4th. So there's some sort of reflection or something that's going to change for you in that 2nd house. So what is 2nd house? It's your overall birthright to abundance, essentially, is really what it essentially is. And we all deserve abundance, infinite abundance, and the only thing that limits us is our minds, or what we put out there and what we limit for ourselves. So it's a time of, I think, coming to a new beginning there, all right, and a new understanding of this abundance inside. Now, it could mean, financial. It could also mean any internal, traits or characteristics or personality things, because the 2nd house is essentially the traits that are inherent to you, that you're born with. Okay, so it's you it's a personality in terms of what you can do, what you can achieve, okay, and what you can attract to you. All right, that's why it's associated also with the house of values. So in either case, it could be new values, okay, it could be a new perspective on the whole abundance side of things. It could mean changes in the finance sector for a lot of you. Whatever it is, it's going to affect all of you differently. And that's just the nature of these general readings. But in either case, you're going to be reflecting on that area from the 4th onward. okay? And that's, I think, going to lead into and start to culminate into the new beginnings in that area later on in the month. And whatever it is, it's very karmic, because these eclipses, it's about the past, it's more of the karmic, but this one is actually more of the fates and the destiny and what your path is and what you're here to achieve or do in this lifetime. The North Node is associated with it. So that is the new beginning. That is the direction that you're heading in, which has to do with you, in a sense, in a general sense, claiming your ultimate abundance inside, feeling the abundance and feeling good about who you are, what you can do, what you can achieve, and what you can attract to you. And also what values you have in your life. It's a great time to really be grateful for what you have in your life. But in either case, new beginnings there, and everything's kind of leading up to it with the Mercury retrograde, and then mid-month we've got the Sun and Venus then going into that second house. So it's almost like the first half you're reflecting on it, or thinking about it, okay? And then the second half, there'll be illumination, conscious illumination with the sun and creativity and joy about it, feeling good about it. There's that, sun is that creative juice, that creative drive to kind of start, doing something in that area, putting energy into it in some way. So that's what I see, second half of the month, putting energy into it, and whatever you're putting that energy into is going to create, I think, that new beginning in that area. But it's big. Like I said, this is all stuff that's been going on since April. Okay, but it's just, I think your consciousness is going to shift into that second half of the month, and then that's what's going to at least help you see the new beginning, because the sun is just straight conscious awareness, and so it's not until we actually observe something or are aware of something do we even notice that something new is happening there. If you look at different areas of your life, it's like if you're not looking for it, if you're not putting your awareness onto it, you won't see it. And so, but you will, because your attention will be in that area for the second half. Now, Venus is going into that area at the same exact time, and so there's connections there. And she rules that second house, and she rules your second house too, of Libra. So there is, relationships involved in all this, because there often is with you, Virgo, with Libra being on the cusp of your second house. But in either case, some relationships perhaps involved in this, okay, but it's positive, it's connecting to, relationships and how they may create opportunities in this area. But Venus is the house of values anyways. So her going into that second house is suggesting that you're going to be wanting to connect more to the material things in life, or the more abundant aspects of life in general. And then through that, wanting that, because Venus is the attraction of wanting it. When you want it, just like the sun, it makes it manifest. So that's what I see. Second half of the month, the attention shifting into that second, and then something new happening there for you guys. Now, like I said, there's a lot of positive aspects involved this month, and one of them, well, the biggest one, is the Grand Trine. And the Grand Trine involves Mars in your third, Jupiter in your 11th, and Uranus in your 7th, which is where the eclipse is. And so they're all supporting each other, okay? So, and the way I see this is, so the transformations that are taking place, the changes in your relationships, are supporting your vision, okay? Supporting Jupiter in the 11th house, which has to do with your bigger, vision. And it could be a vision for the community, a vision for the collective, but overall it's just about your ideals and seeing the big picture. And also about your freedom too. Freedom, I keep seeing a repeating pattern here in your chart with freedom, okay? So this could be a very freeing month for you guys. And it is going to be for everyone, but it might be especially for you, especially because Jupiter is trining from your 11th, which is that house of freedom. And you guys have been, seeing the opportunities that come from that when you're free. And a lot of you are feeling free with Jupiter there. So in either case, that's supporting you as well. And Mars in your third house. So, the second half of September and the first half of this month, Mars will be in that third. So for those of you watching this later on in September, you probably have an indication of what this is. But you're putting energy into third house stuff, which is communication, teaching, writing, sales, exchanges. It's everything to do with the marketplace, Okay, it's your connection, interchanges with the universe, exchanges, and also how you see things. Okay, so really, putting energy into your thoughts or what you're thinking about, new plans, new ideas, that sort of thing. Okay, so whatever that is, you're going to continue to do that for the first half of the month, and there'll be all of that, the more freedom, the more of these relationship changes, all this supporting each other there. Then mid-month, he goes into your 4th. Okay, so for the second half of the month, and this is when things start to change in your second house too. Okay, it's literally one day away on the 18th. Mars goes into your 4th. And so their second and your 4th house is strongly connected this month, which is showing me that there's lots of, the big thing is the second house for you, but it's linked to the 4th, which has to do with the home, the family, the past in some way, and these changes that are going through there. Some of you might, through these values, figure out you might be ready to relocate or ready to put in some more energy in the home area or in the family area, whatever. Okay, but it's something to do with your roots. It's the bottom of the chart, it's the roots, the groundedness, the emotional groundedness. And it's Sagittarius, so it's whatever it is, it's expanding you, okay? But it's linked. So, again, there's a bunch of examples I could give you, but it's all going to affect all of you differently. Something to do with the changes in the second affecting your 4th, okay? And very supportive, and everything supporting each other there. All right, and let's see, so... And then Mercury goes station direct on the 25th from your 1st house. Now, there's been the previous month in September, second half, there was a lot of attention on your 1st house. A lot of you started, some new beginnings or started to think about some new ideas, some new plans for you sun sign Virgos out there. It was your birthday month, or that and the previous month, that whole time period. And so lots of new things going into the works. And so whatever those were, expect, perhaps things to finally move forward in that area even more so on the 25th when Mercury goes direct from your 1st house. And he's tinkering around that north node too, so it's suggesting that this has a lot to do with your path and your destiny, okay? And where you're going in life. So during this Mercury retrograde, reflect on all this, reflect on your values, reflect on who you are and your goals, and use this pretty much the whole month up until the 25th to reflect, and then from the 25th onward, it's a slow month. It's like it's transformative. There's changes, but it's also a reflection period. So while you're experiencing all this, observe it, think about it. With Mercury there, and then things will then you'll notice start to pick up, and I think in November as Mercury starts to gain momentum, because Mercury is your ruler, plays a big role here. Then you're going to see, oh, okay, the ball's rolling, okay, and then the ball got started last month, but then the ball should really start to move in November, okay? So that's what I see for you Virgos. Now I'm going to draw a card and see what Spirit wants me to spend a little bit more attention on in your chart. Libra, this has come up so much in all of my readings this month. And what's interesting is that Libra is where the eclipse is happening. The solar eclipse at the end of the month, the new beginning. So what this card is telling me is that it's happening in Libra, okay, which means balance and harmony. Okay, it's very important that while these changes are happening, that you maintain balance and harmony in your lives this month, Virgo, because you've had Saturn transiting Libra, your second, and he's almost out of there. He's going to be out of there early November. So you've had a lot of time, 2.5 years essentially, of really creating balance in your life. Well, we all have, but it's for you specifically, it's balance in that second house, finances, resources, your values, etc. So maintain that balance this month, but it's balance in all areas of your life. This isn't a month to really tip the scales. This is a month to keep the harmony, maintain the relationship with the work, with the this and the that, and everything else in your life on an even keel, okay? And that's going to create a lot of peace, and it's a very peaceful month, is what I feel from this too. All right, Virgo, so I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any specific questions, and be sure to subscribe for my daily, weekly, and monthly horoscopes. All right, take care, and I'll see you next time.